Hey guys, today we are going to learn the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian game. So even if you are an intermediate level player, you can try this opening against your opponents and win the game unless you do not blunder your queen in the middle of the game. So let's start. This opening is for black where after e4 black plays c5 instead of e5 or d5. The main objective of playing c5 is to trade off white's central d pawn to control the center. Most common move by white is knight f3. Black will play d6 to gain control over the e5 square. If white goes d4, this opens up the center and also known as the open Sicilian. Now we will trade white's d4 pawn by playing c takes d4. White will capture with the knight. Now we will play knight to f6 to attack the undefended e pawn. Most likely white will defend the pawn by playing knight to c3. After that, we will play pawn to a6. This is the knight of Sicilian. This simple pawn move restricts the activity of knights and light square bishop on b5 square. At this point, most players will develop their bishop. Let's say white plays bishop to e3. Now we will attack the knight by playing e5. Notice how this knight cannot jump to the b5 square because of our pawn on a6. Most likely, white will try to advance forward and play knight to f5. To counter this, we will play d5. Now this e-pawn cannot defend the knight and capture the pawn at the same time. Even if at this position black tries to exchange pieces, he can. At the end, we are going to end up with an extra knight. And if black did not capture our d-pawn and moves the knight to the safety, we will play d4, attacking the bishop and the knight. And now black is going to lose some material. But the most popular move in this position is knight to b3. Now we will centralize our bishop by playing bishop to e6. Now to support the center, most players will play pawn f3. At this position, black should castle as soon as possible and go for an attack on the white, and white should castle on the queen side to launch an attack from the king side. Our this knight comes out from this way so that we can plant it on the c4 square to increase its activity. And if white tries to attack by playing pawn g4, we will play a counter-attacking move, which is pawn b5. If g-pawn advances and attacks our knight, then we attack their knight by playing b4. If white plays pawn f4 trying to demolish our center, we will play a5. And if white plays pawn f5 attacking our bishop, we will play a counter-attacking move, pawn to a4, attacking the knight. If he captures our bishop, we will capture their knight. And if he becomes greedy and captures our knight, we are going to capture that a2 pawn, and then we are going to promote it, and white is losing. If white plays bishop c4 in the beginning instead of developing their dark square bishop, e5 is not a good option for black. You may wonder why. Because after knight f5, white is dominating the white squares which are in front of your king. So a good move will be e6, controlling light squares and restricting activity of white's bishop. After that, you can play b5 or d5. At this position, black can play bishop to g5. Now, e5 is not a good option because white can plant their knight on the d5 square, attacking our queen and also threatening a king and rook 4 by playing knight to c7 check. So now queen has to go back to the d8 to protect the c7 square, and after that white can play knight to f5. And now you can see that white knights are dominating the space in the black territory.